Good afternoon, everyone. This is Vasudesh Pandey from EasyOne Systems. We provide the software for the education institutes, and we are very happy you have joined this webinar today. Today's topic of the discussion is the student relationship process, wherein we are going to cover all the way from running a campaign to get more students to your education institute, all the way till they get enrolled. Okay, so let's get started. So, what is the problem statement that we are trying to solve over here? At any point of time, there are about 10 crore students who are studying over here in India. And at your own city, you have thousands of students who are going to many colleges. So the successful institute is the one which is going to attract the best students to your institute, because the best students can perform better and they'll be able to settle better and they will be able to make your alumni very strong. So that's why it's always in the interest of the education institute to attract the best students. So what is the workflow over here? So if you see over here, the entire education institute enrollment follows typically about 8-step process. The first one is a campaign. What do you do in the campaign? You are going to run a few advertisements, or you may be putting the hoardings. You may be doing the phone calls. You may be sending email reminders. These all are the campaigns which you do to attract more and more students to inquire about your college or the school or the university, whichever organization you are associated with. So that's the campaign management. Once the campaign is done, the students who express interest, right? So they will fill a form. So they are called as a lead over here. So when they become a lead, they'll put the information like their name, address, phone number, and all those details. And sometimes you may even ask them to submit their marks card details and their other educational credentials so that you can do the evaluation. So you have the leads here. Then the next is the counseling step over here. What you are going to do in the counseling step is that your admission counselor or the admission coordinator calls that student over there to check, to make sure that the interests are matching. See, you have options to take multiple students. If you are seating, let's say, intake is about, let's say, 500 students per year, and you have about 5,000 applications, then you are going to choose only the 500, correct? Similarly, the students also have a choice. They can apply to your college or another college which is next door. So it's always important that the counseling discussions are held. In that counseling discussion, you are going to go over in further detail to make sure that the student's interest and what you offer, there is a perfect match. So that's the counseling step. Once that counseling happens, at that time the student fills the complete application form. In the previous one, you may have asked him to or her to fill in basic details. But in the next step, you are going to ask the student to fill in much more details, as well as maybe even pay some token amount of application processing fee. So that's the fourth step. The fifth step after this is that you are going to do an evaluation. In this evaluation, you are going to evaluate the students based on their marks card, their interest level, what you discussed during the counseling, or you may even call for additional interview also. So that is the process of evaluation. In certain cases, you may even opt to take an entrance test. So once that is done and you are happy and the student is yes, agreed, at that time you are going to send an offer letter to the student. So the student now has a choice to pay the balance fee and get a formal admission, or otherwise opt and go elsewhere. So if the student gets admission to your college, you will go to the next step. And if it doesn't, then the application form is closed at that stage. So the student master data creation, right? You are going to create a solid record for the student, because that record is the one which is going to be the student identifier. So this is an important step over here, because you may have thousands of students who apply, but only a few hundred students are selected. So the master data is created at that level to which can be replicated. which can be retained for a long time. So once the master data is created, based on what the student has agreed to or wanted to study, you will communicate the exact fee and give them the fee structure. The student pays the fee. So this is all the administrative step. And the final step in this, that you are going to actually enroll that particular student in a particular grade. Then there is a section, or you may want, and in addition, if it happens to be a practical, um, there is a practical examination, then you may put the student into a grade and the batch, right? Or the different things are done over here. Once that confirm and the student pays the fee. So that was the 7th step, and the 8th step is actual enrollment. So this is a crystal clear 8-step defined process to attract more students and go all the way till they are enrolled into the academics. Then the next step, which is the academic management, takes over that. That will have things like timetable, attendance, examination, learning management system. All of those are part of the academic management process. But here, this is the student life cycle administrative management process over here. So the discussion for this today's webinar is going deeper into this particular stage. Okay, so now let me ask a question. You have so much of this process. What happens if you bypass the process? Or if you don't have the strong system which is helping you do all these things? So let's take the first example, right? You have run a campaign. Or are you going to run a campaign? If you don't have a system, proper system, you may not be able to track all the campaigns that you are running, because putting and hoarding will cost you a few thousand rupees, or sending a bulk email will cost you a few thousand rupees a year. Sometimes it may even cost lakhs also, lakhs of rupees. So it's important that you track the campaign. Then you will find out who are you sending those emails and all that. Then for every inquiry you get, you are going to do the follow-ups. If you don't do that, you are going to primarily have 3 to 4 problems. The first problem is the untracked student inquiry. Student wanted the admission and nobody got back to him. Or it was not very clear who to approach. So as a result, what happens? You don't follow up. Sometimes the students have the complete details they do not find. They don't go to the next step. So ultimately, wherever there is an issue in the entire workflow, right? Up till from step 1 till let's say step 6. Anytime there is an issue, your conversion reduces. That means you have got a lot of leads, or you may not have a lot of leads. And then how many ever leads you have got, a very small percentage will get into converted into the actual students. So that's why it's important, very important, that you build a complete potential student relationship management system. In the industry, it is also referred to as a sales desk, because in the industry, let's say this Apple or Samsung wants to sell this phone. So they use the sales desk system. Similarly, in a college, you may want to call it as a potential student inquiry system, or the lead management system, or the admission process system. The nomenclature can be tailored based on what you require, but the entire process is a 8-step process to run, to get a student interested in your college or the institute, all the way gets into the learning management system. Okay. Next is, so what do we do over here in EasyOne? In EasyOne, whatever I have explained, right, the entire process, the 8-step process, we have nearly built it. Okay, of course, there will be certain things, because the moment we deploy it to your place, you may want, okay, I need this change, I need this change, you need this thing. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so when you deploy our software, nearly 70 to 80% is covered. So that means you are going to capture the student inquiries, you are going to track the follow-ups, you are going to track the admission pipeline, find out how many are in the pipeline, monitor the counselor activities, improve the conversion rates. All of those you are going to be able to do in EasyOne. So it will help you improve the lead relationship, timely follow-up, because even the students, let's say, put a request today and you don't get back to him either today or tomorrow, and you got back to him after 1 week, he might have forgotten and applied elsewhere. So that's why the speed is important over here. So it will help you improve the lead database, do the timely follow-ups, increase the academic conversion, each step. So somebody who is interested, to somebody who submitted the form, somebody who attended the counseling, somebody who got selected, then somebody who paid the fees, then who actually enrolled. So there are total 6 steps, right? You want to reduce the dropout at each level, right? So that is what the system will help you smoothly transition the students pipeline from this to all the way to the learning management system. And the major advantage is that you are going to get a clear visibility at what students, what is the number of students at each level. That's what you are going to get. Okay. And why this last one, the data driven decision is it's important because suddenly when the number of inquiries increase, you want to know which campaign has played the role, right? So that is what is called as a data driven decision making, so that you actually analyze the source of the leads and then put more effort onto that. Okay. All right. We covered that, right? So we are going to skip this portion. Okay. The next one. So now lead management system. What is this lead management system? What we are going to do? So you gave an advertisement in the newspaper. Then you may be getting the phone call. Somebody may walk into your college. Somebody may fill the form in the website, right? And somebody may their friends, okay, go and attend this. So all of these are there, and EasyOne has got a clear dashboard of where you are. Then you are going to be able to do the follow up with the students on what is the step of, what is the next step over here. So of course, every system will have a reporting system, inquiry, lead source, counselor, all of these are required. So we'll log into the system and I'll show you over here. Okay. All right. So this was the theory so far that we covered. The one thing that you need to remember is that the more strong or the stronger your system is from campaigns all the way to the learning management integration, the more conversion you will have from campaigns, campaign effectiveness, to the lead generation, to the counseling, to the application form submission, evaluation, successful students identification, student master data creation, fee payment, and finally transfer to the learning management system. Okay, so that is the purpose of this entire thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to log into our EasyOne system over here. Okay, so how do you log into the EasyOne system? So you just go to the test site over here. Okay, here this is a test site. You are going to see some other, basically it says that, okay, it is for the, this is how you are seeing EasyLab group of institutions, right? All right, so now when you log in as a counselor or as an administrator, what all you are going to see? You are going to see this menu here. So this one here, when you see here, this is the academic administration system, enterprise management system, learning management system. See, as I told earlier, EasyOne is an integrated system for the colleges. It does everything over here. So you can categorize this into the different groups. For sake of clarity, I'm directly going to the list of all the modules that you have got. See here, about 50 modules have been written here. So let me tell you how did we develop. What we do is we studied the requirements of about nearly 100 colleges worldwide. So we downloaded the tenders, studied all the material, and added that feature to our software to make sure that it is built for your use. The very first one, you are going to do the campaigns, right? Right. So you are going to define multiple campaigns over here. Once you define the campaigns, you can run the advertisements, you can run the hoardings, you can send the newspaper advertisements. You can use send so many emails, or you can do also the phone calls. Okay, all of that is covered in the campaign management. Now let me tell you, how is that data tracked? So that is important for here. How do we do that? Okay. So here, all of this depends on how you have configured this application over here. So again, this configuration slightly varies from different application, one application to one application, or rather one college to another college. So what we have done in this is that, so we have slightly modified the workflow for our own purpose. So I'll explain you what is there And when you become our customer, we'll be able to refine it, tailor it the way you want it. So the first step, right? You want to find out the admissions data, correct? So what you would do over here, click on the admissions. So this page is accessible from the students, right? So you can give them the link, ask them to go and fill the admission form. Okay, so they can click the admission inquiry. So what they can do, either if they have already filled it earlier, they can inquire it, or otherwise they can click on the new application. So when they click on the new application, they'll put their institute name, academic year, which institute they are going to planning to study. Okay, all that configuration can be done over here. Academic year, grade, course, all of that once you do, right? So once all this information is entered, it is going to go into the lead management system over here. So let me go into the lead management system. So here we also call it as admissions as a part of the admissions here. So, how many students are now added over here? Okay. So now if see here, right? You have got test data. This is all the test data. That's why you're seeing all this null, and all that. But otherwise, you are going to see this. Here you are going to see the list of the students who have submitted the application form here. Okay, somebody by name Abhay has submitted, Chandra has submitted, Rashmi, Chandan. So these are all the people who have submitted the application form. What you can do, you have in EasyOne, what we have done is we have made it even simpler. Initially you were doing everything manually with the pen and paper. Now one step is that I ask you to follow all the 8 steps. Or otherwise what I do is we give you a system which can quickly enroll into this. So that is why our first recommendation, go ahead and ask the students to submit the application form. Okay, so that means you are merging basically the 2 or 3 steps over here. So once the application form is submitted, you will be able to find out, see the more details of that application form here. He has submitted all these details, his parents' information, academic information is there over here. And if you put down below here, you're going to see the exam details, what are the scores he has made. All of those you are going to see here. Okay, so this is the application form. There is another option to see this application in a PDF form, because sometime the people who are going to decide whether to grant the admission to a student or not may be comfortable with the paper rather than logging online. If it is a current generation, many of the staff will be happy to directly log in and then look at it. But if you have somebody who really wants to look at the paper, you can simply click on the student's name here who has submitted. A PDF is generated over here. That PDF you can print it and then give it over to the evaluation. And especially if you want to have more than one person evaluate, then it's submitting a PDF asking them to evaluate is one option that you have got. Okay, so now you are going to review the whole thing over here. Once this is done, then you can have an offline discussion to find out whether the student is interested in the admission. Okay, or how well the interest match. So that discussion, what you have agreed, what you want to do, you can simply go here, click on it, and you will be able to verify that student. Okay, so you can choose, okay, accept it, or it's a waiting state, or reject it, whatever you want, you can go here. Okay, who verified? I verified. Okay, student looks good. Okay, student has good academic credentials. Okay, so then you can say accept it here and submit it. This is one option. Another option, what you can do is, if you want to reject it, right? Again, you can simply go here, reject it. Okay, you can put a rejected here, and then anything recommended students. Recommended student for another course. Okay, so this is another way. So basically what you are doing is you are evaluating the student and you are deciding whether to grant the admission, reject it, or put it on the hold. Okay, so that is what you have done over here. So once that is done, what you are going to do, next step is the fee payment, correct? For that purpose, you are going to go into the master data creation. Here you have got the list of all the students. You are going to add them to the master database. So here, application number, all have to remember Sana, am I on the call?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, I lost internet for a minute.
Okay, sure.
So what you are going to do is you are going to go over here and put the student application number. When you put that, it is going to get all the details and then show that over here. Okay. So now, for example, if I want 00008, okay, that is the application number, right? Okay, so Rashmi Bansal, wow, she is a great author. Okay, this is the test data anyway. So now you are going to, let's say you can create a new profile for potential student. Okay, so you or otherwise if you want to create something like, you can choose whatever you wish. Okay, choose that. And then member type, again, you can put it as a potential student or a general student, anything like that. You can give, let's say if you are evaluating this particular student for this year, right? You can put 26 EAC 001. I'm putting over here. You have all the details, whatever you have filled, right? Everything is already added here. You can add, how long they can access the system, or is it indefinite or with a certain date, till a certain, all that you put it, then you click on add. So now this particular student data is enrolled into your system now, right? So now you have the option to create the student data at any point of time. So you can decide to create this master data for everybody who you want to have a counseling. Because when we looked at it, right? When I go into the presentation, here you have the campaigns, you have the leads generated. So the students who have filled the application form is the lead. So those whoever is rejected already, you don't have to do anything over here. You don't even have to create a master record. Only the ones who you want to have further discussion, verified, you are ready to have additional counseling, additional next step, at that time you can create the master data. Okay, so then you can have the further discussions here. So once you create this master data, so now this is the 26 EAC 001 is what I have created here. Okay, next question. How do you interact with the students? It's very simple here. So all you have to do is just go into this members list here. Okay, so here you have so much of this data. This is all the sample data here. So you can choose the member type. You can put it as a potential students. You will see the list of all the potential students. Or if you know directly the student ID who you want to talk to, just add this. Your Rashmi is there. So when you want to talk to Rashmi, you can have multiple options you can avail here. So you can say you spoke to Rashmi. Okay. So you can put to, let's say, okay, for about 10 minutes. Held a discussion in relation to admission. So this is one option, right? So Rashmi said, okay, I'm interested. Can we talk day after tomorrow? At that time, you can go into the plus F. Then who you are going to talk? Okay, it's me who have spoken. Who is my lead over here? And suppose you need to call again. Again, so all this can be configured here. If you need to send a follow-up a call, okay, follow-up call, feedback call, or anything like that. She asked you to call on day after tomorrow. Okay, you can put a remark in that. Speak to Rashmi again to check on admission, right? All that you do that. So now you tracked what you spoke, and then you put a reminder for yourself. If you click on F, you will see what all you are supposed to do in future. If you click on P, you are going to see what all you have done already. And if you want any notes, okay. So if you want to add any notes over here, so you can see She is a great student. We must give her 10% discount, something like that. Okay. Then I added it. So these notes are only visible to you. The student cannot see, right? It's for your own benefit, okay? Past contact tracks your time. Future contacts sends you a reminder. But this notes section will only helps you maintain your own notes over here. Now, Rashmi is happy. So she goes and pays the application fee, right? She has anyway submitted the application form, right? That we saw, correct? In the application form she has submitted, based on that only we created the member data. So now she paid the fee. So that fee payment is a separate module altogether. We'll take that separately. Okay. But for now, suppose she has paid the fee. You want to send her a receipt? You can simply click on this RC and all the details are captured here automatically. Once the payment is done, you will see here. And if she calls, okay, sir, can I get the receipt? No problem. You can click on it, see the list of the receipts, and then take a PDF and then send it. And most importantly, she will have the ability to log in by herself. That is one thing that this is one real important feature that we have got in the system here. So when we go to this, okay, when the students want to log in, students have multiple options to log in here. Okay, so either they can log in as directly a student, or they can also log in with the OTP. Again, the OTP must be enabled. When the OTP is enabled, they will be able to log in as a by the OTP over here. Okay, so that is the second option. And they can, this attachments. If you want the students to submit additional documents, you can ask them to submit it. Sometimes they send it by WhatsApp. You can track that. Okay, so if you want to see what all attachments are there, you can add it over here and see. So in NetNet, any information pertaining to the students, you'll be able to track it over here. Okay, so now what all we did, we ran a campaign. We spoke to the student. We convinced her to get admission over here. We created a master data. Then we also tracked, reminders, we put everything, then we discussed about the receipt. Now you want to enroll her to the class, right? Once you do, your administration work is complete, because the academic learning management system will take over that. That team will take over that. So how do we do that? What you need to do, you need to go into the enrollment system. In the enrollment system, she might have already filled in the data, right? Okay, I want to get admission to, this EasyOne system is for the multiple institutes. So suppose she has agreed for, okay, taking admission under the management institute for this particular academic year into the MBA first semester. Okay, and you are going to enroll her into this particular grade. So all you have to do is 26 EAC 001. I add it here. Then enroll it. So that means, so she is now officially enrolled into your class. Then the next of the work related to the learning management will be there. So if you want to see at any point of time, how is the overall statistics looking about it? You can simply go over here and see the enrollment statistics here for this particular academic year. You see that, okay, whoever is enrolled, you are going to Management Institute, MBA first semester. Okay, one student is enrolled. Who is that? Rashmi. See that? So now, see, this is the sample data that I'm showing. You can see over here, the whole system is designed to be so smooth that we just started, filled the application form, and then or took one of the application form that was filled in, created a master data, and then added it into the enrollment system. Okay, then there are lots of reports that you are going to get here. If you see, for example, if I go into the sales desk system here, when you are interacting with the organization, this is, total opportunities, how many organizations you are speaking to related to offering your college services, build the rapport, placement and all that thing. But when it comes to the students, there are different dashboards that are available over here in the different domains you will see here. So overall, the purpose of this entire process, entire what we have built is that this is going to make the entire step from campaign to leads to follow-ups, counseling, application, evaluation, master data, fee structure, and course smooth as possible. So that's our goal. Just to tell you about our EasyOne. is an offshoot of EasyLib Software Private Limited. Thank you to all our 700 customers who have been very happy with our library software, and they recommended, why don't you develop the next software? So that's why we have developed this EasyOne system. And EasyOne system, as you see, is a very comprehensive system of about 50 modules for your education management. So what I just showed you today, just one portion, that is the student relationship management to get the admissions flow. And those of you who are interested, definitely we would love to have you as our customer. Here are our contact details. Let me go to the last slide. Okay. And the last slide is, and this is my contact detail here. My number is there, name is there, email. Similarly, one of our team members are also. Reach us, one of us, and we'll be happy to get you started on EasyOne. And as I said earlier, within 1 week, your installation will be up and running, including the majority data migration. Thank you, and we look forward to having you as our customer. Bye for now.